The morning hallways were already filled with noise, laughter, and footsteps that echoed against the lockers. Students shoved each other playfully, some carrying textbooks, others scrolling on their phones. But right in the middle of all that chaos, there was one girl who walked like a shadow. Her name was Emily. Pale skin, long brown hair that she never bothered to style, and clothes that were always plain, loose, and simple. She never wore makeup, never joined clubs, never sat with groups. She was the kind of girl most people didn't even notice, unless they wanted to make her a target. And unfortunately, there were always people who noticed her for the wrong reasons. Emily clutched her notebook close to her chest as she walked toward her locker. She always took the same path at the same time because she had learned that blending into routine was safer. She avoided eye contact, kept her head low, and prayed that today, just today, she could escape without being noticed. But as fate would have it, standing near her locker was the one group she feared the most, the bullies. Jake, tall and broad-shouldered, the kind of guy who thought his father's money made him king of the school, leaned against her locker. Beside him stood Megan, the meanest girl in the entire sophomore class, who always had a cruel smirk ready for anyone weaker than her. Their little circle of followers snickered, whispering jokes that Emily couldn't hear but could feel stabbing into her. Her heart sank the moment she saw them. She slowed her steps, wishing she could disappear. "Oh, look!" Jake's voice boomed through the hall as his eyes locked on her. "If it isn't the school ghost." His words made the other kids chuckle. "Where you headed, quiet mouse? Hiding in your little hole again?" Emily didn't respond. She just wanted her locker open, her books inside, and herself gone. She stood in front of her locker, avoiding Jake's smirk, and turned her key. But before she could open it, Megan snatched the notebook from her arms. "What's this?" Megan flipped through the pages, eyes widening with fake shock. "Oh my God. She writes little poems! Guys, listen to this!" She began reading out loud, mocking Emily's handwriting. "Alone in the dark. I hear my heart." Megan broke into laughter, tossing her hair back. "Wow. No wonder you're always alone. This is pathetic." Emily's face burned. She reached out quietly, whispering, "Please, give it back." "Please," Jake echoed, stepping closer. "Say it louder, ghost girl. Beg for it." A crowd had begun to gather. That was how bullies worked. They loved an audience. They thrived on humiliation. Students began whispering, pointing, waiting for the show to escalate. Jake's grin widened as he suddenly grabbed the collar of Emily's shirt. "What kind of shirt is this anyway? My grandma has better fashion sense." Before she could react, there was a loud "R.I.P." Gasps filled the hallway as Jake yanked at her shirt, tearing it near the shoulder. The thin fabric shredded easily, leaving Emily clutching at herself in panic, trying to cover her exposed skin. Her eyes welled up with tears as laughter erupted around her. Some students covered their mouths in shock, others laughed cruelly, and some simply turned away, too afraid to intervene. For Emily, the world stopped spinning. Humiliation washed over her like a tidal wave. She wanted to run, wanted to hide, wanted the floor to swallow her whole. But then something snapped inside her. She froze for a moment, trembling. Then slowly, she straightened her posture. The tears that had filled her eyes dried up as something colder, stronger, and sharper replaced them. Her gaze lifted, not at the floor, not at her torn shirt, but straight into Jake's mocking eyes. "No," she whispered. Jake blinked. "What was that?" I said. Emily's voice rose clear and steady this time. "Enough." The crowd hushed. For the first time, Emily's presence wasn't small. She wasn't the invisible ghost. She was a storm gathering strength. Jake chuckled, but there was hesitation in his tone now. "Oh," the mouse found her voice. "What are you gonna do, huh?" He pushed at her shoulder, expecting her to stumble like always. But Emily didn't stumble. Her hand shot out, grabbing his wrist, and in one swift, practiced motion, she twisted it, stepped sideways, and flipped him over her hip. The world seemed to go silent as Jacob's body hit the hallway floor with a thunderous slam. His followers gasped. Students screamed. No one had ever seen Jake, the untouchable bully, the strongest in the group, taken down like that. Jake groaned, clutching his back. He tried to push himself up, but Emily stepped forward, her eyes blazing. Megan gawked, her cruel smirk gone. What was that?" Emily didn't answer. Her silence was louder than words. She looked at Jake, then at Megan, then at the stunned crowd. The girl they had called weak, invisible, pathetic, had just flipped the biggest bully in the hallway like he was nothing. "Who's next?" Emily's voice was calm, almost terrifying in its steadiness. Nobody moved. Nobody laughed. For the first time, the bullies were speechless. The bell rang, cutting through the silence, but no one rushed to class. All eyes stayed on Emily as she turned back to her locker, tore off the rest of the ruined shirt sleeve with steady hands, and calmly grabbed her books. Then she walked away, leaving Jake groaning on the floor, Megan pale and frozen, and the entire hallway buzzing with shock. In that single moment, Emily wasn't the quiet girl anymore. She was the girl no one would ever forget. And deep down, everyone knew. The bullies had just awoken something they could never put back to sleep.